Good day, Jamaica. Toraino Beckford here. Just wanted to discuss my candidacy for the position of Head of State of Jamaica and to demonstrate my ability to govern the affairs of the nation of Jamaica. So I want to discuss the topic of our economy and inviting investment to Jamaica, overseas investment. So I was envisioning inviting Disney World to Jamaica, inviting Disney to make a Disney World theme park in Jamaica. The most ideal place for that to be made would be Montego Bay because it is the second city, it is a major tourist destination, and it is also a major cruise ship destination. So I wanted to discuss the factors that we would have to consider in order to increase our odds of getting Disney World to build a theme park in Montego Bay. So one of the factors that we would consider would be profitability because it's a business and they'll want to make money. So how could we assure profitability for Disney World? We could do so by showing them that we are a major tourism destination and we have always had tourists and we have local persons, the local population that would support the business. So we have a major tourism pool because we're a tourism area. So we have constant tourism, tourists coming in and out of the country, and therefore they would be able to make money. So their profitability would be assured. And next factor they would have to consider, we would have to consider, would be employment. We would have to be able to contribute employees to the business so that the business can operate, so that they can have adequate amount of staff to operate a theme park. So is Jamaica able to supply employees, a labor force capable of meeting the demands of Disney World? I would say yes. We have a strong hospitality legacy, and therefore our people would more than be able to meet the employment needs of Disney World. And so I don't think employment would be an issue, a factor that would have to be concerned about. Another factor we'd have to take into consideration if you want to invite Disney World to Jamaica would be the energy costs to run the theme park. The operators of the theme park would want to consider the rate of energy, the price of which energy is sold in Jamaica. And from what I gather, JPS has one of the highest energy costs in the world. And so we would need to invite over foreign energy companies in order to give Disney World an alternative, or we develop alternative energy farms, renewable energy farms, in order to give them a competitive rate, so that they can actually see the profitability in opening a theme park in Jamaica, so that the energy costs don't eat into their profits too deep. And also, Disney World have a very immediate brand recognition in Jamaica because Jamaica is miles away from the United States, and therefore it is very recognizable. And their brand recognition, they would need to do a lot of marketing advertisement because they already have a very established brand recognition in this region. So that would be a factor that increases their profitability and increases the pull factors for them to come to Jamaica. Another factor would be for us to actually give them 10 years protection from rivals. Like Six Flags would allow them to operate for 10 years without inviting Six Flags in Jamaica. So they'd have that added assurance in order to consider greatly to build a theme park in Jamaica. So another factor that would be considered would be our currency. Our currency is unable to store value over a period of time, and we have inflation in our economy that we need to manage. So these are factors that we need to work on. Although currency might not be an issue because they'll be mostly using the US dollar, and so I don't think that the Jamaican currency will be a deterrent to Disney World opening a theme park in Jamaica. But our inflation rate might affect them, and so we would definitely want to contain the inflation rate if there's any trouble there, because they would be considering those factors in their boardroom. Another major factor to consider would be the location of the theme park in Montego Bay. However, this might not be as critical as it would be generally because Disney World theme park would be a major pull factor. So anywhere it's located, it would have that pull. People would go there and other businesses would naturally build up around it. So the location is not that critical. From they have an adequate location not far from the city center, I think that would be adequate for the administrators of the theme park to consider building a theme park with the location being satisfactory. So another issue would be taxation and government regulation. So I was considering that we should give Disney World theme park 5 years tax-free holiday in order to encourage them to open a park in Jamaica. 5-year tax-free holiday would give them the incentive to increase and maximize their profits in the initial stages. And also we do give the Chinese tax-free holiday. So we have a major benefit that we'll be getting from Disney World that we probably don't get from even the Chinese. And so we'll probably get about 3,000 persons being employed. And so we definitely would want to consider giving them any form of incentive that would encourage them to open a theme park in Jamaica. And I think the tax-free holiday goes a far way to maximize their initial profits, to encourage them to actually build that theme park in Jamaica. So permission for government issues are things that they need government permission for. We need to have less red tape, less regulation, and approve of certain permissions in a speedy manner, because these people are very corporate efficient. And if regulation hold them down, they'll reconsider opening up a theme park in Jamaica. So we'd have to consider that the government work hand in hand with them and approve of anything that they need approved in a timely manner, because this is a very important factor when considering profit and investors. You have to keep the investors' confidence very high, and investors are very much on the feet of these board members to make sure that they maximize profits and they operate very efficiently. So we as a country would have to meet that global efficiency in the form of approving whatever they need. So another factor that they will take into consideration is the long-term projection for the business, the long-term survivability of the business. How profitable will Disney World theme park be in 10, 20 years if they open a theme park in Montego Bay, Jamaica? And so I think these factors are well met because we are close to the United States and Europe. So we'll always have tourists coming in. We are a tourism destination, a very beautiful country that have other independent tourism pull factors. And we are English-speaking nation, although we learned that through colonialism and a very unfortunate experience. We can capitalize on the fact that we already speak English. So the fact that we are English-speaking means we attract the English speakers from the United States and Western Europe, which goes beyond just England, because there are many Western European countries that have English speakers. And so that would be a major pull factor to keep the long-term profitability of the business assured, and to let them know that it is profitable in the long term to invest in Jamaica. And so these are the factors that would be influential in attracting investment in Jamaica. These are the things that should be considered by government. And I've just outlined those factors to you in order to demonstrate my ability to govern the affairs of Jamaica and to manage the economy and to attract investment, to expand our economy permanently, and to increase jobs, increase taxation, and to increase the goods and services available to the Jamaican people, because currently in Jamaica you cannot go to a theme park, a Disney World type theme park, because it's just not available here. So that will be also a contribution to the Jamaican people. And there are other factors that the Jamaican people will benefit from this. Also, you should consider my presidency, in that I've just demonstrated how we can actually attract investment from overseas in Jamaica and increase our country's economic welfare, because it's a very significant means by which we increase from a third world country to a more developed country. Because many third world countries have used this very same tactic of inviting foreign investment. And even Sir Arthur Lewis had pioneered the view and had gotten a Nobel Prize, but it wasn't carried out in his vision and carried out properly. So we need to reconsider Sir Arthur Lewis' invitation by industrialization by invitation in the form of corporatism. So it doesn't have to just be industry, it can be corporatism, as in the case of the Disney World theme park. So one love, my people. Please support my candidacy, and my birthday is coming up in a few days, and April the 5th on Sunday will be my birthday. So please wish me happy birthday. One love, guys.